Dibawakan oleh penaja utama Jelajah Jiwa SME, Unify Business, rakan digital pilihan anda.
Alright, we are now in a Jiwa SME segment where specifically the MSMEs make up of 97.4% of all businesses, contributing 38.4% GDP, with 20.6% of this being women-owned. And yet, women continue to report hindrance to business growth, particularly in terms of the poverty and digital gender norms, including digital literacy, and now we have financial literacy. And to help us understand the challenges that businesswomen face in Malaysia and what are the future outlook for their growth in the current landscape, I have with me in the studio is Beena Pothen, the country manager of Mastercard. I want to say thank you very much, Beena, for joining me. Talking about a woman empowerment, firstly, maybe you can share with us what are your thoughts of the involvement of women in Malaysia's business landscape as it stands today?
So thank you, Dina, for inviting me. It's a topic that's very close to my heart, and so I enjoy talking about this. I just wanted to share, like you mentioned earlier, right, in Malaysia, micro SMEs, SMEs and MSMEs form 98% of the business ventures in the country. And if you look at MSMEs specifically, right, they contribute to nearly 38% of our GDP. And 21% of the MSMEs are women entrepreneurs. So definitely contributing a lot to the Malaysian economy. What we have recently also seen is that more and more women are taking up entrepreneurship as a means to ensuring their livelihoods. So this is also a growing segment. But as this segment grows, right, what is really important is that we offer them the networking opportunity and resources so that the gap that you see between the genders is closed. So this is critical. What we have seen is the Malaysian government as well, right, has taken the right direction towards women entrepreneurs. In the recent budget that was announced, they did highlight that 470 million ringgits will be kept aside for development of women entrepreneurs in Malaysia. So a great initiative. And I just want to say that even Mastercard at our end has launched Strive Malaysia. It is part of our initiative to make sure that we work on an inclusive society, a digitally inclusive society where everyone has the opportunities. And we have launched Strive Malaysia, where we have dedicated a set amount of money with our partner, the Asia Foundation, so that we can get in 100,000 MSMEs with specific focus on women into the digital fold.
And we can see active effort to bring in the right set of tools and skills to boost up the women entrepreneurs. And like you mentioned just now, 471 million ringgit set to boost women entrepreneurs in Malaysia. Probably to see it on a larger scale, what are some of the key challenges that women entrepreneurs face until today?
So when you come to women entrepreneurs, right, the challenges that they face is more or less what they face across the globe. So Malaysian women are not very unique. We did a research at grassroots level to understand what are the challenges for women entrepreneurs in the country, and 3 points came up in discussion by them. The first was time poverty because of gender roles that are performed. A lot of them, nearly 97% of them, said that they are short of time because they are also the primary caregivers at home. So they do lack time when it comes to dedicated time to manage their business. So time poverty was one. The other bit was about digital literacy. 80% of them said that they do believe that digitizing their business would help them to grow and make it more flexible for them to operate. But only 60% of them use some form of digital tools. And this gap actually tells you that there is a need for digital upskilling. And the third bit that we realized was also about financial literacy. Only 50% of them felt confident of managing their finances. So there is an opportunity for all involved to get into the financial literacy aspect as well. So when you look at time poverty, you look at digital upskilling, you look at financial literacy, These are the challenges that women face. I have to highlight, it's not unique to Malaysia. I think this is a challenge faced by most women across the globe.
Correct, and this important. We have to see more from the grassroots, as you mentioned, and until not only the challenges from the grassroots, but also from the globally, we also can learn what some of the best solution practices that we can adapt to close one of the 3 components that you just mentioned is time poverty, digital literacy, and financial literacy. Why all of this topic is very important to Mastercard?
It's a very good question. If you look at what Mastercard has been doing globally, we have been fostering inclusive growth for all. So when we talk about inclusive growth for all, we have SMEs as well as specifically women entrepreneurs who are extremely important to us. But this is not just a moral imperative. We do believe that there is sound business strategy behind it as well. If you just look at the gender gap in Malaysia, if we were to close the gender gap in Malaysia, the GDP per capita would go up by 6%. If we look at the ASEAN as a region, if we close the gender gap, the GDP would go up approximately by 4.5 trillion US dollars. So there is a business rationale behind supporting the initiative as well. And what we have done is that as Mastercard taken up on the initiative globally to ensure that we include 50 million SMEs with 60% of them focused on women entrepreneurs into the digital fold. And I want to highlight here that we've already achieved the 40 million mark.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I hope we can achieve more after that. And you mentioned that Mastercard aims objective is to foster inclusive growth for all and to help to close the gap between the time poverty, which due to gender roles, which we can stuck because of that reason, and also only few women, or we can say 60% of women are equipped with digital skills, tools, and only half of them are very confident with their financial management. And what some of the effort that has been rolled out by Mastercard to address all of these issues?
So in Malaysia, I want to highlight what we do in Malaysia. We've launched our Strivers Hub for Malaysia. Now, what is the Strivers Hub? The Strivers Hub is an online portal which actually there are 3 things that we try to do. One, the portal gives an opportunity for women entrepreneurs to come on board and network with other similar women entrepreneurs. It also gives women entrepreneurs an opportunity to seek out mentors who have possibly walked the path before them. And apart from this, when we spoke about time poverty and also understanding of financial literacy, the hub also provides micro-learning tools. So micro-learning tools on how to digitize my business. How do I have a digital storefront? What do I do to make sure that I have the funds available? What are the sources of funds available in the country? So these are the things that they can access through the micro-learning portal as well.
Probably you can share a bit more micro-learning, how it progresses so far, and what are some of the key learnings that we can take away from all of this initiative?
So in terms of how we have done globally, we've done extremely well with the Strivers Hub globally. Closer to home, I want to give you the example of Indonesia. Strivers Indonesia was launched a few years before Malaysia, but we already have on board 280,000 MSMEs who have come on board and part of the Strivers Indonesia Hub. In Malaysia, we are only a few months old, but we've already got 4,000 enrollment where we are actively engaged. But we do believe this is just the start, and we are working on series of grassroots level roadshows. So we are going to target 5 states. We are starting with Kelantan in November, this November, so we're just around the corner for that. But we will also be having workshops in Penang, we will be in Sarawak, we'll be having one in Kuala Lumpur and Johor as well. So the idea here is to work with partners at the grassroots level to make sure that we can reach out to the SMEs and the women entrepreneurs and give them an opportunity to come on board the Mastercard Strivers Hub and upskill themselves digitally and financially.
This is also the reception and the impact of this initiative that we have seen so far. What other gaps do you still see in terms of creating a more equitable playing fields for women, and how do you plan to address and interpret or inject solution within it?
So when it comes to one of the challenges that we also see is access to funds, and sometimes it's access to funds, and sometimes it is also awareness about where the funds are available. So awareness about where the funds are available is also equally important. Now in this aspect, if you see what the government has done, right, they have kept aside 470 million ringgits for the initiative to ensure that we get the women entrepreneurs into the digital fold. Mastercard Strivers Hub also gives them access to what are the different sources of funds, how will credit be assessed. So micro learnings on how to access funds, how to get credit, and how to run businesses. So this is something that's part of the Strivers Hub as well.
And this is very important on how we address them as well in the future. And coming off the recent 2025 budget tabling, how do you foresee the initiative and incentive table in the government helping women entrepreneurs in particular? You just share your thoughts on this on our early discussion. Probably you foresee the impact within the short term until long term of this.
I think it's a journey, Nina. I do believe it's a journey. So, you know, it's good the government has actually taken the initiative. They have started the journey. Mastercard in the country through the Strivers Hub has also started the journey. What is critical here is that all partners, whether it is private enterprises, whether it is public sector enterprises, we all need to come together, because the fact remains that SMEs contribute to 98% of the GDP. So it is super critical that we all come together to ensure that we give equal opportunities and upskill our SMEs and women entrepreneurs as well.
And probably in our efforts to boost women entrepreneurs, businesswomen, what are some of your hopes or strategy that we can have a take a look on the collaborative efforts between corporate, government bodies and MSME to create an enabling environment, especially for women? We know that the challenges in boosting women entrepreneurs, we have to work together, but what are some of the challenges for all of these bodies to work together to empower women, as all of us have some ideologies, belief on how to empower women in the future?
I think what's happening is that when you look at some of the work that's done, whether it's the government initiative of nearly $500 million being set aside, whether it is Mastercard Strivers Hub, all these initiatives are working towards the same common goal. Now it is about how do we have more partners coming on board, and how do we align forces so that we can deliver more for the women entrepreneurs of Malaysia.
I love that. How can we come aboard and align of our goals to empower or boost women empowerment, women entrepreneurs within and create a more valuable and equitable playing field for them. And probably, Beena, I want to probably talk about what are some of future initiatives that Mastercard has been planning other than the Strive Malaysia and Strivers Hub. Maybe you can share with us in the early plannings of other plans.
So like I mentioned, right, I mean, starting November, we intend to go down to grassroots. So we need to be where the rubber hits the ground, where we have the communities that are there. So, you know, working alongside local communities to make sure that they're aware that they have a Strivers Hub in Malaysia that they can leverage. So the idea being that, you know, not just sit in the key cities, but go down at grassroots level, work with local, you know, partners, associations on ground to make sure that our women entrepreneurs can leverage the benefits. So like I mentioned, the 5 states are on high priority for us, and starting November, we'll start with Kelantan.
Beena, maybe you can share some advice as you as a woman itself, probably in the corporate and leading role. What can you share with the women out there who wanted or just start to initiate their own businesses and maybe expand their operations? Maybe you can share with them.
As a woman, I mean, like I mentioned, right, very, very close to my heart. The topic is very close to my heart. What I would say is that I know it's challenging when you have time impoverished, It is challenging when you don't have the digital skill sets, when you think that you don't have the financial literacy that is required. But I think what my recommendation to them would be, just stay focused. You know, you have to, there is no balance, Nina. You know, I don't believe that there is a balance in life where I can balance home and then I can balance my work as well. I think what women should focus on is juggle and do what makes them happy. And the fact that they have walked this path of entrepreneurship, I'm sure there is a sense of achievement for them, and so they should keep focus. There will be hindrances, but there would be partners like Strive Malaysia that will be available to help them through as well.
Correct, and it's not easy to juggle things out or to balance of our every responsibility, task.
Absolutely.
And again, I would say thank you very much to Beena Pothen, the Country Manager, Mastercard, for sharing the current landscape of women entrepreneurs in Malaysia and some of the challenges that they have faced along the years until now, and how can we address them effectively. Again, I would say thank you very much on this insightful share. And definitely all of our discussion here will be featured in AstroAwani.com and across all social media platforms.
Dibawakan oleh penaja utama jelajah jiwa SME, Unified Business, rakan digital pilihan anda.